Hi everyone, welcome to this final pre-recorded session 4 of our 4-week program inside Mycelium. Um, it's a beautiful rainy morning. I've just dropped my kids at school and we've had some really hot weather and now it's raining outside and I've got the door open. I can hear the rain and just made myself a chai and here I am spending this time with you. So I just want you to feel into that for a moment that all this is simply us having a chat together over a chai on a beautiful, cool summer rainy day to kind of tie a nice bow on what we've done already. Like we've already put so many foundations in place, and the purpose of this short and sweet integration session that I'm offering now is to help you feel that there's a sense of completion in the work that we've done together. If you're anything like me, you'll be good at starting things and you'll come in with a lot of energy and enthusiasm, but perhaps less good at completion. And I have to really challenge myself, or I should even say I have to discipline myself around that completion piece. But I do find when I do discipline myself, I really get the job done and I see the results. So yeah, there's an element of discipline in this. Let's tie a bow around it and have it completed and finished. And of course, I will say this work in business is always ongoing. Like there's no actual finish line. And that's one of the joys and one of the challenges of being self-employed. On the one hand, it's never done, right? So there's always this feeling of like I could be doing more, which can be quite tiring. On the other hand, you do get to call the shots and have flexibility and have freedom and do it your way. And if you need a slower pace or you need a more elastic timeline, that is absolutely possible. So swings and roundabouts. By now, there are certain things that you need to have done for this session to make sense. So we are at the point, and you can see on your screen my notes here. If you're driving or you're doing something else while you're listening to this, that's absolutely fine. You can simply come back to the notes in the portal whenever you're ready. But by now, we want to have defined the offer, chosen the format of delivery, clearly identified who it's for, made decisions about delivery. That's not a small thing because that's a place where a lot of women get stuck in analysis paralysis and really stall. I've seen women stall for months in deciding what platforms to use. Such a waste of time. Considered and decided your pricing, and then begun describing and sharing what you are creating. And if you're smart, you would have started some behind the scenes sharing so that people are starting to feel excited about what's coming. So this is the foundation. If you haven't done these things yet, go back. Watch the recordings of the previous weeks, especially if there were some that you missed, any live sessions that you missed. Go through the workbook, which should now be completed, and actually also do some of the work to get these things in real time in action. So if there are gaps in what needed to be done to have completion on putting an online offering out there, please go back and fill those gaps now. There's literally no point in watching this until you get that piece done and dusted. And for some of you, especially if you didn't have a foundation on which you were building, this is the first time offering something online. That's a bit of work. So I don't underestimate that. I want you to go back and do that completion work. Now, I want to say some things about energetics and mindset before we move into completing on the sort of practical, strategical, logistical part. And you would have heard me say before that I really believe success in business is based on two equal areas. Like you need both. One is the energetics and the mindset. So part of that is simplicity, part of that is discipline, part of that is literally positive thinking and manifestation techniques. And clarity, one clear pathway. Now, I've emphasized this again and again, one offer, one audience, one start date. If you keep iterating, reiterating, redesigning, changing your mind, switching to a different platform, very often adding in those layers of complexity is simply you creating some avoidance or being in a state of procrastination. So I want you to really be honest and look and see if that's what you're doing, and then slow yourself down on that. Go back to the workbook, go back to the previous videos, go back to the simplicity. Now, it's really normal at this point, as you are literally about to give birth, like you're abundant with your offering, you are pregnant with your offering, and you're about to birth it. Some fear and some resistance and some anxiety might come up. And you might feel that around visibility. You might feel that around monetary stuff, around setting a price and standing behind your value. Or you might feel that around timing, like, am I ready? Is now the time? So many different ways in which that anxiety can manifest. But I want you to see it for what it is, which is anxiety, worry, fear. And that's okay. It's normal. That resistance is part of this process. And I want you to firmly and kindly put it to the side. I am a doula, a childbirth education uh, uh, facilitator, and also I support women in birth as a doula. And of course, I've had 5 babies myself. And one thing I know to be true about birth is mindset is everything. If a woman goes into a birth believing that she is going to have whatever birth she planned for, like whatever she really wants, very, very much more likely to get that outcome than someone that goes in with a I'll just see what happens attitude, or even a I feel like I can't control this. I have no autonomy here. Now, of course, there's also an element, because two things can be true at the same time, of surrender and letting go. Like the beautiful hand it over to the goddess sentiment is also really important here. So it's both, right? We do our effort, we do our mindset, we're in it with our manifestation and our intentional, drawing these people into our work. And also we accept that whatever the goddess has in mind for us is what's going to happen. And, it's not all up to us. But it is normal to feel resistance at this point, and many women get stuck here because they're afraid of being seen. So I want you to be honest if that's what's going on for you. And here's my suggestion. If that is what's happening for you, start small. You don't have to start with 20 people. You don't have to start with a $500 offer. You can start with 3 people. Just yesterday, somebody was messaging me in Instagram and asking me, should I run a training I've put on? I've only got 5 people booked in. Should I run it? And I get questions like this all the time. And I'm like, yes. That's 5 women that said yes to joining you in your space. That's 5 potential testimonials. That's you running your whole training and getting experience and refining it and getting clearer about how to be of service and building your confidence. So absolutely run it with 1 person, 2 person, 2 people, 5 people. This is beautiful. Like 3 participants is a success. 5 participants is a success. And yeah, the testimonials and the beginning is the most important thing. And as you're doing it, you will sort out tech issues, you will sort out delivery issues, you'll refine the content. Like it's really important to get on the horse and start riding. And I've said in the notes, don't forget to do your energetic woo-woo work around this. Now, I feel like I'm kind of preaching to the choir here. I don't need to tell you guys how to call people in and magnetize and do that type of energetic work, because that's, we all work in that type of field. But pray for these women, call them in, open yourself up to being of service. This isn't about like, oh, I hope I get enough people, or I hope I make enough money, or what if no one wants it? One of my teachers, Guru Mukh, Kundalini yoga teacher, wonderful woman, used to say often, worrying is a form of praying for what you don't want. So instead of worrying, just start praying for what you want. Start visualizing your perfect customer coming in and signing up for your training. You're not convincing people to join you, you're inviting them in. So create a beautiful sacred space, an altar in your home. Put some fresh flowers on it. Put a little Lakshmi deity or whatever deity is resonant for you in terms of abundance. Some incense. Tell the universe that you really want this. And a beautiful practice that you can also do is having a basket or a little container and some crystals or some little like pebbles, that each one representing a woman that signs into your program. And then every time someone signs in, let's say you want 5 women in your first round, you've got 5 little crystals, a crystal gets placed into the bowl on the altar, and that woman joins the circle. These energetic pieces really matter, and they really make a big difference. And then along with the energetics, we've also got to work on the strategy. So again, go to the final section of your workbook. First job right now is to again check, is there anything unfinished? We're bad entrepreneurs, spiritual women, ambitious women are bad at completion. And I say this knowing I'm speaking about myself as well. Look for what's missing. Is it that you still need to write that sales page blurb? You still need to connect PayPal to your checkout. You haven't yet scheduled your social media posts or your emails. Like there's going to be a couple of little pieces of the jigsaw puzzle that aren't quite in place yet. This is the time to stop thinking I'll do that later and do it now. Write down what's still unfinished. Again, make sure you've got your description and your landing page for where you're going to offer this, where you're going to present this offering. Prices are clear and dates. There's a very successful business mentor and coach called Marie Forleo. She's been around forever. She's brilliant. She runs a school called B School, an online business training. And she says, and I think these are really helpful words, if it's not scheduled, it's not real, right? You know, when you meet someone, like let's say you bump into someone in the street, this happens to me at school pickup quite often, and you chat away and you say, oh, we must have coffee at some point, or we must catch up at some point, and then you both walk off. You kind of know you're probably not going to have coffee at some point, right? Like, if you really want to have coffee with someone, you go, are you free on Tuesday? Do you want to meet up in the morning at 10 o'clock? So this is you doing that. You're not saying, I'm going to run this thing at some point. I'm not quite sure. I'm just working on it right now. I'm feeling into it. You say, we're starting next Friday at 10. Are you in? Right? Dates are set, and then your payment link and everything is all in place. It's all there. Next step is to get your marketing plan in place. Again, we're going to ask that question again. How many participants do we want? And we're going to be humble and excited and confident all at the same time. So small numbers is a great start. You can repeat. In fact, I recommend you do repeat. You're absolutely not going to do this training once and then never again. You're creating something that you can run over and over again. Almost all of my signature programs, my business programs, my Ayurveda program, my Yoga of Birth program, I've run them. Oh my goodness, I've run them for like 10 years. I mean, the business is more like 4 to 5 years, the program's in there. But it's rare that I introduce a new program. This year, I introduced a program to help people write a book. That was a new one for me, but it's the first time I've created a new program probably in 2 years. Most of what I'm doing is rinse and repeat because I've done the work already. I've done all the thinking. I know the content is good. I have a brilliant sales page. I have a marketing system in place. Why throw all that away to do something new? I mean, I know why, because shiny objects are exciting. And also, if I'm busy planning, and I'm not selling, it feels less confronting. But guess what? It doesn't build my bank account up. So we're going to put things out there and then we're going to run them, get the testimonials, and do the repetition. So schedule the elements of your marketing plan, right? Actually, schedule your social media, schedule your emails. You definitely want to have some sort of email backend that allows you to do that. Again, Shine Pages, I think, is by far the best entry level product that's out there that will allow you to do this. And then look at the number of the money that you want to make. I do this with all my launches. I write it in my notebook. How many people do I want? What am I going to charge them? And how much money do I want to make? And sometimes, especially if it's a new program or I haven't got strong numbers or something, I'll add in a couple of free or low cost places as well. So I might have a scholarship place or a freebie place if there are people that I know I want to take those. So it's not that the profit is always exactly the number of participants times the price. You might have some private flexibility around the price, but I wouldn't advertise that. I would keep the price very clear in the public arena. And then if you want to offer discounts, scholarships, even free places, you can do that privately. Look at your calendar for the next 2 or 3 weeks and decide when you're going to work on all of this. Block out some times. Again, if it's not scheduled, it's not real. I mean, I've talked about this during the course, so you've seen me talk about this over the last 3 weeks. This is such an integral piece. Take your business seriously. If you have kids, if you have other responsibilities in your life, if you have a full-time job or even a part-time job, you're looking after older parents, whatever it might be, life is busy and full, and far too many women put their business as a lower priority or even the bottom priority. I spoke about this at the Roots Festival when I gave my talk in the beautiful Kali yurt. We need to start prioritizing ourselves. We need to start taking our businesses seriously. We need to start asking for childcare from our partners and our family members. Blocking times in our calendar for work. This is the time I'm building my website landing page. Put it in, block it in as if it were an appointment that you had that you needed to keep. This is the time I'm going to set up all my payment links and my emails. Again, block it in. My diary, I use a paper-based diary because I'm old-fashioned. it has these things blocked in, work items on my list of things to do and times when I'm going to get them done. And I'm pretty rigorous about sticking with it. And I think that's one of the reasons that I've seen success in my business. So you don't need to do it every day. It doesn't need to be hours every day, but you do need focused, realistic blocks of time that you're going to continue to dedicate to your business. Okay, before we wrap up, I want you to write down what your next three steps are and when you're going to take them, because clarity creates momentum. When you're just kind of in a soupy, like I'm thinking about doing this thing, but I haven't actually committed to dates and I haven't scheduled any time to work on it, it's soup, right? It just doesn't, there's no container for it. When we've got the clarity, the momentum begins. And sometimes when people are stuck about what to do next, when you just begin, what you need to do next becomes abundantly apparent. Once you've set dates, the pressure's on, you'll need to start your marketing. You'll need to start talking to people about your offering because the dates are already there in place. And I will also say this, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. All of this applies to a freebie as well as a paid offering. So do not underestimate the value of the freebie and the email addresses it will bring in for you, because that's potential revenue later. So take your freebie seriously, offer it with a real high quality and the same sense of esteem and regard that you do a paid offering, and with the same amount of time and energy that you put into it as you would with a paid offering, because just trust me that it will pay off. I'm so, so thrilled to have spent this last 4 weeks with you. I feel genuinely blessed and truly honored that you've chosen to spend this time with me. I hope it's been helpful. I want you to know that I'm always here to support you. My email address is, available to you. You're very welcome to reach out on Instagram and leave me a voice note. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how this goes. I'm also happy to hear if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed and you want a little bit of a nudge. I'm more than happy to be the person that provides that. So please stay in touch. Reach out if you need extra support. And, the way that you can really honor this work and the legacy of the women that are doing this work in the world is by doing your own work. Like actually create the thing and put it out there and be happy with a humble beginning and small numbers and watch it grow, watch it blossom like a little garden, little seedlings in a garden, flourishing into abundance. I had a beautiful Tulsi tree that I planted this time last year. Tulsi is the plant of Krishna, and in yogic tradition, it's a very there's a lot of reverence for the Tulsi tree. It's seen as very sacred. And so I planted this little Tulsi plant, and just last weekend, I gave it a bit of a haircut and potted it into a bigger pot because it had grown. And now, as I said, it's raining, and that plant is just flourishing. But it's been a year in the making, right? It was a tiny little seedling. Now it's repotted into a bigger pot. The rain is doing its job. Little bit of a prune and a haircut. That's the simplicity. And the plant is flourishing. And your businesses will flourish too. Slow and steady wins the race. Thank you so much for being with me on this journey. And yeah, please do keep going, and please do be in touch with me and share how the journey is progressing. Namaste.